Sorry. All right, welcome everybody. Let's call this meeting to order at 1:01 on Wednesday, September 14th, 2022, Parks Board meeting. Roll call. Let's see, Chris Bridges here, Ed Schroll,
Right here.
Bob Rhodes
Here.
I'm here. Anna White is excused. And then Addison Houston. Let's see him on. Okay, and then I'll just go back to that. And then see Lisa Scott, our council liaison. Hi, Lisa. And Robert Lund is here in person, our city engineer. And Craig's on now. Okay. And oh, there you are. Hi, Addison.
Hello.
There. So I need a motion from somebody to excuse Anna White from today's meeting. I'll make that motion. In a second.
Sure.
Petrol second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting agenda. I need a motion to approve the meeting agenda for today as written. I'll make that motion. Second from Bob Rhodes. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Approval of last month's minutes. Need a motion to approve the August 10th meeting notes as written. Ed Schroll, thank you. Second. Thank you, Chris. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Great. Moving right along. First announcement is to introduce Bob Rhodes as our new park board member. Bob, welcome. Thank you. Good to have you on board. Sarah, do we have any public comment?
I didn't receive any written comments and there is no public online
Okay. Okay, perfect.
because that's Amanda's watershed.
Yeah, she was gonna make a.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's okay.
Yeah, I didn't put her on the agenda, so I have to go back to amend the agenda. Is Amanda for the, is she from the,
Watershed company.
and that's for the North End Grand Canal?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just, can I just go?
You're fine with that.
I'm fine,
'cause he
okay,
commented.
all right, that's great. Well, when, do you want to do that now, so she's not sitting on the, Amanda, do you want to go ahead and do your presentation first, so you're not sitting?
Sure, that works for me. Yeah. Yeah, I'm Amanda with the Watershed Company, and Robert, I think, just wanted me to hop on here and give you guys kind of an update on where we're at with that process. For those of you that don't know, we conducted kind of phase one of the project on our end, where we met with stakeholders in the community. So it hadn't gone to the public yet, but we just met with stakeholders and did a series of, design charrettes and got an understanding of where everyone's head was at as far as what they were looking to improve in the park, and different priorities. So we made sure to kind of cover all of our bases, and then we produced a master plan. And then from there, the phase two was to bring that master plan to the public and get some public community feedback on that. So essentially, the phase two was supposed to start, I think a while back. Phase one took place in 2019. As we know, things got a little delayed with COVID and whatnot, but now this fall we're looking to conduct 2 community meetings. The first is taking place on the 23rd. So myself and Principal Amber, who's worked on phase one of the project, will be coming over to the Ocean Shores and having an open house in the library from noon to 4. And there will be, we will have the master plan design, as well as a survey, which is also online at the moment. So we've distributed, or I think the city clerk has distributed a link to the survey where I've gotten lots of responses already from the community. And then a link to the master plan, so they're able to review that. And then at the community meeting, there'll be a little bit more hands-on activities where they can provide feedback via sticky notes. We have a couple other exercises. And then from there, the second work, or after that, we'll kind of generalize the feedback, see kind of where the trends are laying, and then do a second workshop where we'll get a little bit more hands-on with some of the nitty-gritty details of the proposed park plan. And then from there, we'll take that and produce a revised master plan. So essentially, it will have the input from the stakeholders and the community, all while, maintaining feasibility and the other constraints that are there at the site. So that is our process, and happy to answer any questions or go any further on anything that you guys want to know.
Yeah, and you guys, Addison, here's your copy. I'll forward you, I think you have it, Addison, is the QR code with the information that the watershed put together to put out to the community to make sure that they fill out the survey. Robert had asked if the parks could help push that out, and I put it on our Facebook page. And just as reminders also constantly for people to fill out this survey. Have you checked, Amanda, to see what the response has been so far since it's been up, like how many people?
Yeah, I can get the exact number. I think it's good. The last I checked, it was around 60 or so responses already. So I haven't really dived into the content.
How long are you wanting to keep the survey up for?
I think we'll keep it up through the first workshop, which is on the 24th. And then what's great about the link tree with the QR code is we can actually do a second survey using the same flyer that you have there, because the QR code is the same. We'll just update so we can continue to get feedback as we produce the design further. But I was thinking after the first workshop, kind of stopping the survey there, taking the responses, summarizing them, seeing where the trends are, and then from there using that feedback to continue the design.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So just we're trying to help you get the word out. So
yeah, that's great.
Part of it. So does anybody have any other questions for Amanda?
I had a note just from the council meeting on Monday, or the city council meeting. It seemed there was a confused person that thought that it was a 4-hour meeting about the Northeast Grand Canal Park, but the reality is it's like you'll actually be in this room here that we're meeting in right now, but
Oh, great.
Yeah, so this is what you're seeing on the owl is the room.
Perfect.
But it's really like, it's not that I would show up and be there 4 hours. It's just that I get off of work at 3, or I get out of my doctor's appointment at 3 o'clock, come by, meet the people from the watershed company, ask questions. They'll have the maps up where you can, move stuff around on the boards. I like this, I don't like it, but it wasn't like it was gonna be a 4-hour.
It's an
Right.
open house.
Yeah.
Q&A open house, very informal. Okay.
Yeah, and in hindsight, maybe we should have made that more clear on the poster, but I suppose if there's a Facebook post or if you do a reminder, you could just kind of let the community know that. We're gonna have like 3 stations. 1 will be sort of introduction to the project. 2 will be a feedback exercise, and then the 3rd will be a feasibility exercise. So understanding, we can't have everything we want. Where would you prioritize if this were, if you had this amount of money, how much would you want to put toward each element? So that will sort of be, that was our idea of sort of the circulation of keeping the open house. And then of course, we're there to answer questions, like you said, so.
Great. And Addison, you had your hand up at one point.
Oh yeah, I was just curious about when or what the time horizon is for doing that updated master plan.
So the goal is to do this first workshop on the 23rd of this month, the second workshop at the end of October, which is actually it might be the beginning of November at the city chats, I believe. And then our goal is to get it done by the end of the year, because I'll be going on maternity leave after Christmas. So that's our constraint there, and what we're trying to push to get done.
Great, well, congratulations on that too.
Thank you, yeah. So hopefully a quick turnaround. And also my grandfather bought a place in Copalis when I was, or in the 70s. So I've been going to the area my whole life. So I definitely have an interest in the area and excited to work on this project.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you thinking mostly grants with that, grant funding? Robert, is that what the original thought was? When you guys
That's part
decide.
of, yeah, the structure of this master plan is that, it's sort of all the supporting information you would need to apply for funding.
Right,
Your cost analysis, the public inputs
Yep.
documented, so
Mhm.
we have a great package.
right.
I'm not as familiar with, what particular funding sources are there, but, I do recall those, they kind of work like in a 2-year cycle, so I'm not sure if we're coming up,
The RCO grants.
yeah, like that, so I don't know if it's gonna be like a year gap before we can apply for anything, but looks like.
I think that we had, sorry to chime in here, but I think as part of the master plan that we put together, which I believe is posted on the link tree, we have an outline of potential grants and their timelines. So that is something to consider. Some only happen on like even years versus odd years. So you're welcome to check that out as far as potential funding options.
Obviously, we need to tie back in Sarah Bisson into the fold with that, I would imagine. And then our updated comp plan that we're working on, Amanda, our Parks Comprehensive Plan is expires at 2023, and we're in the middle of updating that right now, so that'll obviously help with that piece too. I would imagine.
Okay,
I think, yeah, the
Yeah.
comp plan
Mhm.
helps.
great.
All right, any other questions for Amanda?
Looking forward to seeing her.
Yeah, and I won't be here unfortunately, but definitely thank you for this. Thank you for coming on. our
Yeah,
meeting.
absolutely. Thanks for having me, and I'll be there in a couple weeks. So,
Great.
all right, take care.
Okay, so old business, the park board budget request. So what I thought I'd do is just always keep making sure we're talking about what we've asked for and what's getting approved and what's getting done. So we're not forgetting about that. So first on the list is the skate park. We did, this year, Angie Folkers was able to, find some money in this year's budget, to do some of the projects that we asked, the council to approve. So the skate park was one of them, and I know, Bob Rhodes has been working on that pretty diligently and getting some bids together. I think you were gonna email me the bids, but they must not be in yet.
I just have some coming in right now, so maybe later.
Oh,
I have a lot of temporary stuff, and I want to get the stuff that's better to pass on. I
okay,
got all the numbers pretty much, but
okay,
I didn't think that would fly going through the city's procedures. I mean,
It still gives though Jenny a real, if you have quotes, kind of, when we know about what something will cost to do, it really helps, because it tells us like, oh, this is like a Northeast Grand Canal Park, that's a, sealed bids and everything, or it's something where if it's under certain thresholds, it's
If you got a couple numbers thrown
a
out,
little easier.
I'm curious.
Well, I got, okay. For example, the transition pieces are gonna run about 1,700.
Okay.
And then the product itself is gonna run just around 443.50.
okay,
4,350. And then I've got tooling, saw blades and such from Fastenal and fasteners,
mhm,
stainless steel fastening. I'm just waiting for that bid. I'm gonna be coming in right now, so
okay.
it's gonna be. I hope it's gonna be under the threshold.
Mhm.
It should be probably around 6,000.
Yeah, that's way under.
That's, yeah, that's report.
Yeah, and then steel prices.
The steel prices
Steel
going.
prices are all over the place.
So I thought the bids are good. We're not taking, there's no steel involved, it's all aluminum, and the product is built by Paneltech
Mhm.
in Hope. It's a synthetic. Product. Actually, what it is multiple layers of paper in epoxy.
Okay,
The heat is designed for this particular application. This is the very product that they have. So it's a very durable product that will be overlaying over the steel.
is that the product that's on now?
No,
Okay,
it's steel now, and that's why we're going to overlay it to restore it and make
well,
it.
what's the rubber that's on it now?
That was a coating over the steel.
Right, and that's all there is, so you're gonna
Yeah,
put.
it's
that's
steel,
the better-
steel now. And this is a refurbishing plan to restore it, so it'll
So
be,
gator skin ramps on it, so
Okay.
it's made for ramps.
Ramp,
In
yeah.
particular for skate ramps or for like your house?
well, actually, they build it for many applications. They build several products. And this one actually. There was a product called Skate. He would know. Addison.
Addison, maybe.
There was a product they used in all the ramps that are built on wood structure,
Mhm.
and it's called Skate Light. This is the superior product of Skate Light. The Skate Light is not, it actually becomes, there are issues of traction
Mhm.
and friction and all that, you know. So this is the superior product, it's the best on the market. So
And that's the $4,300 price?
Yes,
Okay,
it's quarter inch thick.
okay.
So in order to make this work,
Uh-huh.
coming off the concrete slab, you have to put a transition piece in front, that's what the aluminum product is coming in front, so that you don't have this leading edge being vulnerable.
Okay, all right.
And that will mold over, is flexible enough to
Well,
mold,
what it's gonna do is gonna be mitered at certain intersections,
okay?
so the intersection will be a miter, so there'll be a joint that'll be.
Okay, perfect, perfect, sounds like a plan, and it's
Yeah.
cheaper than we originally thought about, I know the mayor threw out a number like, if we can do it for 10 grand, that'd be great, so we can do it for
Well,
less than
It's
that.
gonna be installation is the other issue.
Okay,
So
so,
this is just in product.
right, so, but weren't we talking about volunteers, or are we not doing?
We're talking about, yes, however, we need to get the city insurance approval that volunteers can install that just from.
Okay,
um,
okay, so hopefully,
So
then it
the
won't.
beauty of this project is that the person who is the spokesperson for this product is going to volunteer to help.
Oh, wow, that's great.
He has built parks all over there.
Again, we have to make sure that it's okay with the city insurance to bring in volunteers to put that in, and otherwise it needs to be a license and bonded.
There is something, there's no one existing that's licensed and bonded to do all this application. So we are the ones.
There's,
This is what you call an anomaly. This application over what we have.
that's our only hiccup is the installation piece of it, so. We'll work on that. So, all right. Just send those bids to me and we'll just see what we can do.
So what is involved in getting this? Hopefully, this is not another project that'll sit for 2 years while everybody's deciding what to do.
You go on as soon as the city gets a video.
Right, I understand that, I understand that.
I've lined up all the necessary people like police department would allow us to use the building for storage and power.
Well, I think it's especially incredible that the guy who's making this material is willing to also help install it. I mean, that sounds
It's
pretty,
less than that.
sounds pretty professional to me.
So,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so the North Bay parking lot, I think. I rode by it the other day and it was crushed up with dirt. I think the gravel was getting delivered probably soon, huh?
Yeah, so this morning they were watering the gravel, they had pretty level. Excuse me. But I'll call you back. I wasn't gonna take the call, so.
That's all good.
But no, they were watering it this morning and so I'm assuming that they're gonna be compacting this afternoon, but and I don't know, I saw the ground. I don't know if they had any other plans that they're gonna put another lift on it or something, but they were putting water down and compacting it today. So
Okay.
it won't be long.
Yeah, so that's exciting. That's another one. So the Chinook toilets, that's obviously the flushable toilets that we're hoping they'll pass, the city council will pass the budget to for the next budget to put that on. That will be, that's exciting. Dog park, that's also on the agenda, hopefully to get approved. I mean, you did your report yesterday or Monday, Robert, right?
Yeah, and what I did was I put the fresh waterways board and the parks board stuff into the public works presentation. I'm trying to kind of mirror what you guys were saying, because, I don't have any dispute with any of it.
Yeah.
You guys are the ones that put the time in to figure these things out and what the needs are. So, yeah, and so there's some fine tuning there, or just, obviously the director of finance is trying to figure out where there's money for dump trucks and skate parks and all these things. So as that kind of comes into focus, that's where it's important just to continue to advocate for those particular, those particular items that we've been waiting on, like the dog park and all that for a long time. So.
Yeah, well, and that leads, to F, which is the goat head removal, and Robert sent off the formal bid proposal, because you need 3 bids. So we're hoping for an application in October, November, with the second application in spring to deal with the goat heads. Then we'll be able to really focus on the dog park, getting the dog park functioning and the playground equipment. Well, we'll get the playground equipment hopefully too, but get the grass taken care of.
Where are they thinking about putting the bathroom?
At Chinook,
Yeah.
I would imagine probably, well, I don't know where. Probably where the porta potty is now. I would
Wherever it's
imagine.
more convenient to the road utilities.
Well, right now that's true. I guess right now
We have water there.
we have water. Do you have a light? There's light out there?
I don't really know.
I've never known him to have any power,
Power.
but I know.
Is there, well, yeah, I don't know the particulars. I'm assuming there's water there, because I've heard we have irrigation, but is
Yep.
there sewer? Do we have? Is there-
Probably not.
And the street, the sewer.
There's sewer.
Street,
Right,
sewer
so-
may need to be brought in.
Right, so, but if the bathrooms were along the entrance road just before it turns off somewhere along there, that'd be a straight line to dig to hook to the sewers, I mean.
Yeah,
Well,
sure,
and it's-
figure it out.
It's a vacuum sewer system, so the nice thing about that is you don't gotta worry about flow.
Right,
Sawtooth it, and it's not like, oh, it's gonna be 20 feet deep or something like that. It's-
but if it's straight run, that's
If we
easier
put
to
it-
do.
On the driveway side, that would take up the parking for the dog park that we were talking about access.
Yeah, I don't. Let
But-
that
but
figure
those
it
are,
out.
Like, for the budgetary items, what Kristen and I were trying to do was to get the major elements.
Right.
Like, it needs a fence, okay, well, what do we think fence will cost, and it needs a bathroom. Obviously being closer to utilities helps, but, then it's like the other elements we'll talk about here, we're trying to get something in there and then putting some money on top for installation where the street screw. Where, gets out of our expertise or, like the fence, we're not gonna install fence, there's fence contractors.
Sure.
for that, so.
Yeah, so dog park, all right, so the biggest piece in Addison, I'm so sorry, I should have emailed these out, but I assumed you were gonna be here, so I apologize, and I would email these to you right now, but.
Oh, no worries. I just got caught up in meetings, so.
So, no, it's all good, so, we're gonna talk about this, but when I get back, I will email you this information. So the playground equipment, Robert, and myself reached out to 2 different companies. One's called All Play and the other is called Landscape Structures. So they gave us a couple of design concepts and bids on playground structure for Chinook. And then I also had them add in a swing set because we're going to have to repair or replace that swing set.
And
Awesome.
selling point on this thing too, just for details, to sell things is. If you have if the swings, they swing on that bar. But if that bar is 8 feet high, you move like twice that height away from it.
Yeah.
And we really currently don't have that kind of clear space around.
Right,
the
Yeah,
sunsets we
so we
have.
probably need to replace that.
For safety.
Yeah. So anyway, so if you take a look at, I guess we could just quickly just go over the all play. She sent out two different. Danielle did two different. Design concepts, and all I found was one bid. Is that R5? R5.
Sure.
That's
But this is
35.
our 35,
Yeah, so you have an R5 and an R35 from All Play.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Maybe-
So you'll see the first one, she's got a 3D on top of the Chinook Park, and then she's got, what the design would look like, and this one, the R5 is a sail,
Can I see your front cover? Okay,
R5,
got it.
sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Anyway, so this one has a sail on top of kind of mimicking a ship, a pirate ship. She says that themed play structures tend to be a little more expensive. I personally thought when I looked at the play ship, I thought of the wind and that sail was gonna get knocked down in one of our major windstorms. So the less we have that higher up, I think the better off our equipment's gonna last. That was kind of my thought, but. So just, you know, in your leisure time, you guys just kind of take a look at that. The other one she sent was not a theme. One, it's just a pretty basic structure, slide, a pole, stepping stones up to it. But what I did have her do is on that R35, you'll see the swing set. I asked her to please include an ADA swing. So you'll see the one is a simple bucket for a toddler and the other one next to it is an ADA swing. That's what they look like for children with needs, special needs.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, and then the two regular.
Yeah,
So trying to remember who comes in that need. And then the price for one of them. Just the play system is like $113,000. So. That's what we're looking at. Play Creation gave us 3 different concepts, so concept A, B, and C, each with its pricing. It's very 3D, you've got little kids sliding down the slide, it's very simple concepts. So what we could do is, you know, just take a look at these, look at the pricing, kind of see what you like, don't like about these concepts. You were saying that, Robert, that All Play was almost like a one-stop shop in her bidding, right? It was included like the rubber matting installation.
Yeah, and I would just go back to we're kind of in this budget process right now, and we're trying to like get numbers in front of council and not necessarily pick exactly what the equipment will be. So I think there's a lot of room to say, hey, the colors can be different, or
Right.
let's take a look at some other structures as long as they kind of fit what we budgeted. From the 2 vendors, that were kind of responded to us, you know, our streets crew on this one, is, I would limit them any assumption of what they'll do to really just demolition, like rough grading, and then, but the equipment itself needs to be installed. So each of these did include some installation costs, but All Play, I think, was a little more thorough because they also included like rubber tiles under the equipment, which is, you could still use pea gravel, and there are other things we can use, but they all need a border of some kind. And the tiles are there's different systems, but in any case, they included the cost to purchase those tiles, and they're not cheap. The nice thing is that they've said they need to be, for this piece of equipment, they need to be 3.5 inches thick, or this piece of equipment, they need to be 4 inches thick. But they are, you can pick colors on them, that kind of thing. But in any case, all plays actually include the cost of those tiles. And
25,000.
Yeah.
That's for the tiles, yeah.
what they haven't in either company, and it's easy enough, you go back to the other company and say, hey, let's put whatever system you're proposing, put your cost into here. In the end, when you guys do kind of, find the company that has what you want, I think they're both on state contract. So their state contract pricing, so it makes it a little easier to take that to council and say, this is state contract pricing.
Mhm.
All play, I don't know about the other company, they'll actually include some hard dirt work. They'll go install borders, do some grading, they could dig the posts for the footings for the equipment, and, sonotubes with concrete so that it doesn't fall over or blow away. And I believe that can be done in state contracts, so it makes it a lot easier going forward. But for budgeting purposes anyways, we've got to add some on top and have added some on top of like this $113,000 to say, hey, there's, depending on what kind of borders we pick, is it wood, is it concrete, there's plastics. They seem to say they don't think they work real good, but I've seen them work fine. But that does allow you more to work with one or two of these vendors to kind of hone down to put some harder costs in there, how much, given more time, and we're pretty serious about it, how much is all this other stuff gonna cost too?
Yeah.
Right now, I think in your budget, I think we've added like, I don't know, another 30-40% on top of that. And that's where we're just vulnerable as far as costs going over and having to reduce scope.
Right. So the good news is we're kind of getting ideas and moving forward with playground equipment at Chinook with, the hopes that, city council will, when they finalize the budget, include that for the revamp of Chinook Park.
Sorry, Nancy, already.
Oh, no, yeah. And then I can also forward the emails to you guys also, if you'd rather see them in color. Any questions about any of the budget requests that we're working on right now? Oh, yeah, Addison.
Yeah, just thinking, in terms of Chinook, it really seems like we do have a lot of projects kind of at that park that we probably should look at some overall site options for configuration of how all these things are going to play out. Because otherwise, I mean, it's just, if it comes down to just moving ahead with what gets funded first, we could kind of bind ourselves in terms of space. And just getting that bathroom really closest to the road is probably going to minimize the utility cost for having a new connection there. So that really might change up some of the things in terms of like the dog run area and how we configure the playground in there. So I'm happy to offer support and helping pull together some like just options that we can look at.
Yeah. You mean just like kind of doing a rough drawing of a different outline?
Yeah, just
of-
some different site options for, because you have a lot of kind of large areas. So we have the bathrooms, we have the dog area and the playground. So just playing around with some just spatial configuration layouts, so just large ovals and looking at where we place them.
Yeah, and I think, the one thing that we're not taking out, we're keeping that is the basketball court. So that's there, that's kind of
So that's gonna be fixed.
fixed. piece
Yeah.
of it.
So that's good, because that will then give some centering between that and the boat ramp of kind of what we need to move around and what we have to work with.
Yeah, and do know that the whole fence, even the fence that runs along Duck Lake is coming out. And there's a couple of trees along Duck Lake that are bad, that I know that John Wagner has mentioned maybe possibly having to take out. So that's kind of some thought there too. But yeah, that'd be that'd be great, and I can help you with that as well. Ed, you had a question?
Yes. So I'm assuming that wherever we put this playground equipment is going to be in the same place with the old playground.
Well, I think that's what Addison is saying, it's
Okay,
like,
so I mean, we're not really changing anything, we're just replacing playground structure for one that used to be there or will not be there anymore and with a new one, right? I mean, that's the basic.
well, I
idea.
think that was the idea, but now that we're adding toilets, I mean, are we?
Well,
going
okay,
to-
but toilets are down the road, right? I mean, they are. I mean, we're not, we should, I would love not to see progress held up for worrying about toilets, irregardless of.
Nothing's
I think
getting
we-
funded before we could pull together some schematics or, I mean, it's literally drawing ovals in different configurations, so. We're not gonna have
Understand.
funding before we get to. At least an ability to review, and if it is, just leave it as is, and that's what we choose and go with.
All I'm saying is, right now, what we're hoping to replace is going in existing places, with the exception of the dog park. And the bathrooms, gosh, they're down the road, I mean, so I don't know. You know, I just assumed it was going in the same place, so there wouldn't be really a whole lot of worrying about redrawing it, but if, you know, whatever works.
It's a park and how we want to use space, and if we're changing it. I mean, it's kind of what makes sense for it. If it doesn't make sense because it wasn't designed to accommodate some of those amenities, then let's change it instead of just being stuck with it.
Right, but we're talking, the only things we're really adding is bathrooms down the road and hopefully a dog park.
And a playground. So
Right,
that's
but-
3 new things. And pretty
Oh,
much
okay.
everything is coming out except for the basketball court. But it's fine.
That's-
Don't worry,
Wait.
I'll bring it.
So the swing set has to get moved because of what Robert was saying, so we're gonna have to push that back, push it forward, do something. Change it. Yeah, the playground equipment, the thought was to put it in the same spot, yes. That was the original thought, but I guess we can just kind of take a look and see what we're working with.
I kind of wanted to put the swings right by the water so you could
Just go right into the water.
into the lake, yeah. But, yeah, and you know, there's contacts at Public Works if you've got a question about where is the sewer actually, or what would it take?
That's good to know.
You know, you can get in touch with Nick directly, or we make everybody go through Nettie Wagner at the building department. But she'll if you send her an email with a schematic saying, hey, we were thinking that the bathroom, could you let us know what the water and sewer services will cost? She could probably give you an idea, or contact with Nick or something and say, hey, that's gonna be a lot more difficult than if it was closer to the street. But yeah, eventually somebody's gotta tell Mr. Wagner where to put stuff. We would probably help him out having a map of what the plan was, but it will, you know, if things go kind of where they are, it will save money too.
The park's feeling smaller all the time to me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like,
A lot of stuff into it.
yeah, and then not to mention, that's a popular boat trailer park, I mean, they launch their, you know. There's usually 2 or 3 trucks with trailer park there.
There was some thought of maybe making more parking spaces
Mhm.
along the south side, the entrance side. Making some more parking in there, because if you throw in a dog park and you've got the new playground equipment, then you would put a trailer on the dog park, it's gonna be used.
Yeah, and that's something too, though, you know, but that'll give you something to like figure out where,
Yeah.
if you're putting the dog park, like, oh, the fence doesn't need to be that wide. Because
Correct.
you can put a trailer around the outside, you need
Right.
space for a trail.
Right, exactly.
Do you have a drone picture of Chinook?
Don't we?
We just had the city, aerials. For it, was just trying to think of a way to get, Craig tied into that, and, there's probably a way, on the parks board, I don't know, I get through the county.
I mean, I have the tools that I can take the aerial and compose it into some visual or some just line drawings or CAD drawings. It wouldn't be precise with the parameters, but it'd be enough for at least kind of getting an idea.
I think it's really gonna help with the layout of the dog park, because I know we have a rough one, because we need to just get some fencing bids. So that might help.
Oh, yeah, and I could, I can export from, because we have the county's aerials, which are a little better than Google Earth, and I can export that, and it's got a world file in it, so if you do stick it in CAD, I think it'll, go in the world where it's supposed to be with whatever, or
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
happy to send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Perfect. Okay, so old business number 2 is the park comprehensive plan. I know it is where it's at. So that our ad hoc has not met on that. We need to probably get together and start finishing that up. So at least getting the chapter 5 edits. I did get the edited version from Heidi, so I have it. And so we can go forward with that. So we're just status quo there, new business, the YMCA. So I met with the mayor to talk before we did the parks budget city council meeting. I met with the mayor to see if it was something that, we should talk to the Y about contracting their services for some kind of summer program. And he thought we should do that. So the YMCA has agreed to meet with the mayor and myself to discuss possible youth programs and what they can offer for our youth in this. And so that's going to happen October 4th with the mayor and myself. And again, it's just a presentation to see if it's even something that they can offer. It's something that we think is viable. And again, it still comes down to the city council to decide if that's something they want to put in the budget for the biennium, but at least having with the Y and seeing what they can do, because they do it for the other cities. So that's kind of going forward.
So you'll let us know that in our October 12th meeting.
For it, yeah.
Cool.
So, isn't there actually still money from last year, $40,000?
It's not our money.
It's not, well, okay, but it was, okay. But it was for a youth program, right? So did that money go back into the general fund?
And
Because,
Lisa, you want to answer that?
Yes, so there's $60,000 and it goes back for next year for the summer fund program, so it's just being reallocated.
okay, so it's not really a new thing, it's just moving the money forward.
Yep.
But that's nothing to do with parks.
Okay,
And they're
Alright.
actually, the next biennium budget, they're going to actually.
Okay,
take the
so then
summer fund program.
is it different, this YMCA thing different than that thing?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
But we
So-
could use those funds if we enjoy the YMCA's program? No.
Then what
The
are,
summer fund program is not part of the parks budget. This is-
No, and I would anticipate that if there would be some kind of an arrangement with the YMCA for summer kids program, that maybe there might be some flexibility. Because, the school board, they just have a new superintendent and everything's kind of crazy. And so getting a summer fun program together, which is heavily reliant on the school district, as well as volunteers. So maybe there might be some flexibility, but I can't guarantee that.
okay, I didn't know there were two separate things, okay, great.
Yeah, there are. Did you have, Addison, were you trying to ask a question?
Nope.
Okay. All right, so there's that discussion. We did the Northeast Grand Canal, so that's done. We wanted to talk about one of the things that came up in the outreach, the parks outreach, was having more accessibility to our parks meetings once a month. And so they talked about moving a time once a quarter to a later time, so people who work can maybe access it live or attend. so we need to, as a group, discuss that, and that's today. So I think the last time we talked about it, Addison, was possibly just moving one meeting a quarter to 6 o'clock, but we don't know, Sarah, from your perspective, it's after hours, it's at 6 o'clock. First of all, is the library even open, this room open, not open at 6 o'clock?
I mean, they're not open, but they're not open on Mondays either, and there's meetings here.
Okay, is it a possibility if we did that once a quarter at like a 6 o'clock time? Could it be all Zoom, or does it have to
No.
have public?
You have to
accessibility?
have a public place.
Okay.
The governor put that into law.
Okay. So if we did that once every 4 months,
It'd just be a special meeting.
it would be a special meeting
Oh,
at 6 o'clock. Okay. All right. So do we have to vote on that? To vote on that, to do that once a quarter, to change it to a? Or is
Are you
it a
talking-
special meeting?
So you would just say, I wanna have a special meeting on this date and time,
In lieu of,
then we'd put a cancellation for the meeting that you were gonna do.
okay, what if we wanted to? Just make that a part of the parks is every 4 months, it's a 6 PM meeting.
That I don't know, because the city code, that's what I was looking at this whole time. The city code nor any of the ordinances say anything about specific times for the Parks Board meetings, dates and times.
So then it could be anything.
So I was trying to find where they came up with the second Wednesday at 1 o'clock. I don't know. But I was just looking.
Yeah, well, it seems like all the boards have it's this day and this time, right?
And theirs all say that. In the code,
Oh, ours doesn't say anything.
not that I can find, unless it's somewhere else. But I just started looking at it.
Would that be in the comp plan?
No,
No, it would be, because it's a council provision from the creation of this Parks Board.
that comp plan doesn't.
It seems to me if you don't have a specific time set out, does it have a specific date as well, or is it just Parks Board shall meet?
It just says that, it doesn't even say that, it just says, this is what a quorum is. It
Okay.
does, yeah,
So it sounds to me that you're flexible enough to choose that, and if you want to hold a special meeting, you just call it.
all you do is cancel, since we already have a past practice of doing the second Wednesday at 1 o'clock. We just cancel one and set a special meeting for the other.
Okay, all right, so,
Can we just keep the second Wednesday and change it from 1 to 6?
I think that would be a good idea.
yeah, can do that.
Be simple.
Yeah, let's not.
So how do we open the library?
You're just talking quarterly,
Yeah.
yeah, because I have to get mayor approval to like do all this at 6 o'clock every month.
Yeah, we were
Um,
just once a quarter, we were just trying to answer, so a lot of the feedback was, it's during a time that we can.
Yeah, a lot of the boards are like that, so
Yeah.
we just work it out with Keitha.
Just work it out with Keitha. Okay. How much of a notice do people need, a week, or is it 24 hours? If it changes to
24 hours.
Okay. Okay.
Well, and I
So-
imagine if we're trying to make it more accessible, we'd want to make it a little bit known to people, so it's not like last minute people show up just because we're meeting in the
On
evening.
a common practice, then that's something I'll put on the board's page, that quarterly you meet at 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
No,
But we don't have to vote on this because it's not a change.
no, you'll just ask for a special meeting.
Just ask for a special meeting. Okay.
okay.
So, I mean. Okay, I think that we could do that. I mean, what do you think, Addison? This was
Yeah,
just.
I mean, it's just a matter of when would we want to start doing that.
Wanna
Um,
start
it's-
Next year,
I was thinking that too.
we'll wrap up this year at 1 o'clock and then maybe, our
Yeah.
first January could be a 6 o'clock meeting.
That sounds good. Yeah, I think we have enough already on our plate for the remainder of this year to stay busy.
And that's,
For sure.
I have a consideration.
Okay,
When January, it's 6 o'clock, it's dark. So I just thought during the summer hours, there's more lights, it's easier for people to get around. That was the consideration that I approached when I was on the park board prior. Why do we not meet in the evening so other people have the opportunity to come? in?
yeah, so, yeah.
They said, well, we don't drive at night. So maybe think about,
Well, the thing is though, Bob, if it's every quarter, you're gonna hit a nighttime regardless. So I mean, it's not just once a year. So if you start in January, the next one won't be until summer. And then the next one won't be until fall. So you're gonna hit night if it's once a quarter. So they'll have other opportunities if they don't wanna go. If you don't wanna do it live, summer.
it's a good point, though.
Plus, they're allowed to come now, which is during the day.
Well, there's that.
The park boards are already open to the public.
And all the meetings are recorded now, which they
Yeah.
never.
This just allows the working sector of our population, which we are getting more of, to be able to attend in the evening when they're not working.
Well, I mean, I think we need to listen to what they want. So I think let's try it. Let's start in January and we'll do it for a year and we'll circle back. We'll see if it's working. It's been successful and people like it. I mean, that's all we can do. Okay, all right. Let's remind me when it comes to January. So.
What you gonna tell?
All right, so moving on. Okay, reports, just general reports, not Niagara Park inspection reports. I have nothing to report. Anna's not here. Chris, do you have anything in general to report?
Not to report, but I have a question.
Okay,
Okay, at the skate park, I noticed there's a porta potty and a hand washing station. And I want to know if that's the skate parks or is that the cities because of the COVID testing over there?
No, we had one moved there.
Oh, good. It's like, it's to stay there then?
Mhm.
Yay, I like that.
thank you for that. Okay, what is your other one?
North Park's looking good.
Oh, yeah. It's not your park report,
Oh,
just
okay.
general.
Okay, then I think I'm good. now.
So actually, talking about porta potties, you know, the one at the golf course? That's city owned, right? The golf course one? On the
I don't
golf
know
course,
about
on
that
Bull. Okay, don't worry, it doesn't matter, never mind. Ed, do you have anything general to report?
nope,
Nothing. Addison, anything in general to report?
Nothing to report, but curious if we missed the part on the comp plan update or status.
I talked about it, I said we were status quo.
Okay, never mind, then I'm just missing that part. Yeah, then I think everything I had is covered.
Yeah, I said, I have the edited outline that I got from Heidi. The ones that she'd already done, I got that. And that the three of us still have to meet to finish up. Sorry about that. I kind of mumbled through that. Bob, so this section of the report is just general, if you need to report anything or talk about anything, thank
I
anybody.
think that you've got your hands in a lot of things right now, it's great.
Oh.
It's new action taking place.
Yeah, there's some
I
actually
agree.
I'm
happening.
excited about it,
Good,
there's a lot we need to do, but it's a great start.
yeah, there's a lot.
And I think Addison's idea of getting the layout of Chinook is good because
Mhm.
when I volunteered, we did a lot of work on that years ago, and I designed the basketball court, which was downsized in all ways, but it's kind of.
Yeah, it's a half court.
Anyway.
It's a house.
It's like- I think it's like-
Maybe down the road, maybe in a few years, we'll get a full court.
I think it could be a half court. anyway.
What? Lisa, you're up, council liaison. Anything to,
No, I have nothing other than we're in the middle of budget process at city council, so that's good. Let's cross our fingers. Our projects will stay in there and we'll get some traction in the next biennium for the budget. if there's anything in particular other than what we've discussed today that you would like me to bring up at city council, please let me know.
Do you know, Lisa, when are you guys actually voting on it? The budget?
Sarah, I'm gonna look at you just because I don't remember off the top of my head.
Probably won't get voted on until December 12th, but between November 1 and the end of November, that's when they'll start ticking things off. Like, yes, add it, no, remove it.
Oh, okay, all right.
But they
So
won't
then at the
finalize.
end, and they finalize the vote on the final budget. Got it.
Yeah, because we still have to meet with staff and go through priorities and projects as well. So we'll be working on that. I am still waiting to hear back from the city attorney in terms of the Ed. I promised to get back to you. I have dinged both John, the mayor, and the city administrator, Scott, to get back something from the city attorney. And so I am crossing my fingers I'll get it by at least by Friday. So it is, I'm still following up with that. I just haven't heard anything back on the foundation.
You know, it's been almost 6 weeks.
I
that
know,
we-
trust
that
me.
we've been in limbo and haven't really been able to move forward.
Yeah, I appreciate that so much, and I'm to the point now where I'm thinking it's probably fine, and to move forward. But I feel like I want to say let's just give them till Friday, and if we don't hear back, let's proceed forward.
Well, you know my feeling about this. This has nothing to do with the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100% with you on that. And so I will reach out to the mayor again today and just.
I don't think we would,
No,
we wouldn't review a foundation's.
No, but there was a concern from, there was just a concern that came about that that we double check with the city attorney that there was no conflict of interest or anything remotely related to that. So that is what we did. And we're just waiting to hear back. And if we don't, I think we proceed forward.
all right, we have a check I haven't cashed. We have to get a bank account. You know, all the stuff we need to do, right?
do.
So-
Yep.
Okay, and so far I've done all the running around, all the mailing out, and
Yep.
I just don't know where to go next, so.
Okay, so let's, I think maybe Ed, Kristen, and myself, let's regroup on Friday and figure out what our next step is.
That'd be great.
All right. Thanks, Lisa. All right, next up are the park inspections. Chinook and Spinnaker, they're fine. Chris, North Bay,
That's really exciting. The North Bay's parking lot already looks better.
yeah.
And I wanted to say the dandelion crops are looking good too. Is there a problem with the mowing? There's a lot of.
Well, they're down a couple staff and they were down a lawnmower, so.
Which brings up my comment. So if
Oh.
I could advocate.
You can.
So the Public Works budget proposal. We are requesting 2 full-time employees
I heard that.
for the streets group. So that is more, not saying we can afford it, I don't know, it's an Andy Falker thing, but. It's not just the boards, but also just our facilities that are like, the mowing's not done, or there's something that needs to be done with the building, so. So I'm just advocating for those 2 full-time positions.
Yeah.
John, not because we just want more people running around, but really, we can do more
Right.
mowing.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a real visual for our public.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also to get back to your guys' pickleball conversation. We took the tennis courts out at North Bay. Because of, I'm not really sure why, to be honest, but it was a while ago. And wouldn't that be a great place to use that section of park?
Everything's really already there. It's fenced off. They use the same courts. They just have to be remarked and different.
That's
At
cool.
Emerson, you mean?
What?
At Emerson?
No, at North Bay. They used to have the tennis courts there and they took them down.
Well, because they're at Emerson, right?
Well, they're at Emerson also.
Okay.
They had both.
Okay,
Yeah,
So.
and I'm all for painting the pickleball courts on Emerson.
yeah, we talked about that last meeting and we just
AFAB.
said, maybe we talk about that in another budget cycle in doing
I
that.
don't think it's gonna cost that much to paint. Some
Well,
pickleball lanes.
It's painting and nets. It really wouldn't, be, especially since fencing's already up, it wouldn't take much at all.
And there's lots of parking there too.
And, you know, again, you take it away, not worry so much even about the parks board in this. This is just a great project for the city to take on and get involved with, because again, people, we have had, I'd say, almost at least 40% of the people that have come and played pickleball this summer have been from out of town.
At
And
Damon.
almost, yeah, Damon, and almost all of them have said that we found Ocean Shores because of the pickleball courts.
Yeah.
We were gonna go in a
That's a
different
really nice
destination, but
facility.
we're planning our trips according to pickleball fields.
And
Okay.
there's that group that plan their trips from dog parks also.
Right, there are, but pickleball, it's just a fast growing sport in the
Yeah,
country right
yeah.
now. The Mariners had it on their big display. We had just on television a few weeks ago, we had championship pickleball tournaments. There are clubs all over. This could be a great place for competitions for,
Yeah, destination.
Great.
so.
But
yeah.
we already have tennis courts at Emerson.
But they're not being used as tennis courts. I mean, there's, I've never seen anybody out there.
I think there's only one that's actually, it's still, that's
They
actually
would be
together.
being used if they got painted in the pickleball.
Anyway, so I can't imagine us putting more tennis courts at North Bay when the ones that we have aren't even being used.
No, pickleball, not tennis, pickleball courts.
Okay, but,
Totally different. thing.
Totally different thing.
Yeah,
It-
I mean,
Alright,
if
so-
somebody just play pickleball,
okay, well, why,
it's real popular with seniors
Oh, it's real
who
popular,
have time. to
even
play.
in schools.
well,
So-
we're having trouble just getting the skate park budget together to fix. So, I mean, and we're asking for them to find more money to do something we haven't even asked them to
Well,
do.
I brought it up as an, option for the Parks Board Foundation to apply for LTAP funds for.
For-
Because they can do tournaments, that brings in tourism, yada, 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 that's why I brought it up.
Okay, okay,
so-
It doesn't have anything to do with the Parks Board.
It's
Yeah.
really for the city is always looking for ways to bring more people into town.
Yeah,
That is absolutely the
That
number
would-
one thing that you can do right now to get people
Yeah.
into town. Okay,
I mean, instantaneously.
Even at a recent, city council meeting, a person
Yeah, I knew it.
mentioned how
Yeah.
great it was that we had pickleball courts here.
he's the guy
But the
that,
pickleball courts are not even part of the city, they are
Right.
part of
Yeah.
Community.
community.
the, so we need to get ourselves on
I
track.
agree.
Yes,
Yeah,
And there was a great facility as a tennis court at North Bay. It had a crack in the concrete, so they tore it out. But it was used heavily, because there was a tennis group here that played both courts. So
I don't even
pickleball is
know
great,
where that is.
a great
actually.
start.
Is there
it's
still
right next
fencing?
to the basketball court, right
And
next
there's
to
still
the,
fencing around it?
on the south
There
side.
was fencing, yeah.
Well, okay, but, all right. Again, we have two at Emerson that are in good condition.
Yes, they could be turned into pickleball courts by next weekend.
Well,
you're right. I mean, it's true, okay? So,
We
you
got
know,
some dandy painters over there at the
we have a,
4-inch rollers.
so, all right,
Tape it down. Temporarily.
Oh, they'd be scuffed up before you know it.
just,
That's temporary.
okay. I just keep thinking about all the stuff that we have in front of us that we're trying to get through, so.
I think this would be something that we should definitely
Can we-
talk to the mayor about and get a fast track.
this should be outside of the parks.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. This sounds like a low hanging fruit for your foundation.
Yeah.
Well, sure, yeah,
Yeah.
that is absolutely a thought. My thinking is, this is really a bonus winner for the city, okay? That this is something the
It's a
city should look at. They're always looking at ways to attract people to this town. Well, this is the biggest one right now. This is really popular and it's a big deal.
I think, yeah, maybe the foundation talk about that.
Well, we can do that. If we get together, that'd be great.
They need a
Right.
bank account first.
Limpet's good though, Limpet's fine.
Getting back to my part, right?
Yeah, that's fine. I
Emerson is the greenest grass. Is that being sprinkled? And there's hardly any dandelions there. It's real green. It's real pretty.
Maybe you've got some secret sprayers.
I was thinking,
Maybe after-
they have to look at it. Yeah, I was thinking that too.
I would say, yeah,
yeah,
I don't know. if
it's nice.
it's getting special attention or.
I think you're right. I think the neighbors. Because the side by the tennis courts, where it's empty lot next, right here and here. It's just green where the neighbors are, so
Oh, maybe they're.
I think they're out there.
That's okay.
Yeah, works for
We'll
me.
take it.
Deer like it too, the grass is nice and
They do.
green, yeah.
All right, so Anna's out, and I didn't ask her about hers. I didn't see any problems. I have to go by them. Ed, you have Texmar, Milo Schneider, and the skate park.
I have the skate park and Milo Schneider, yes, the status quo, they're the same. Skate park, we're hoping to get it together here, and Milo Schneider's missing a swing, but I guess we're not responsible for that.
Missing a slide.
The slide, I'm sorry, we're not responsible for that, so it's the same. It's being used a lot, all this whole summer long, I've been working along with the Market by the Sea, and there's always kids on that playground.
But
Always.
it's the saddest little playground.
It is the saddest. It is, but it is,
Ground playground.
but it is constantly being used.
It is.
So,
Yeah, okay, you're right. And actually, you do have Texmar.
okay, yeah,
Okay, it's fine. And then Addison. Gunderson and North End Grand now. Any issues?
Gunderson, no issues that I've seen. Gunderson looks like it's been well maintained, well watered. And then North End Grand Canal, just good to hear that everything's moving forward with the watershed company, and we'll be excited to show up for that workshop. Sounds like next week.
Okay, and then Bob, you're new, you don't have any assigned parks. So Ed, I can take one off of you. Do you want me to take Texmar off?
well, don't some of you have 3 of them on?
You have 3 and
I have 3?
you have Texmar, Milo Schneider, and Skate.
On the agenda, I have you with Texmar.
Oh, look at me just assigning you Texmar.
Okay, well, I mean, I just didn't know.
So we're giving it to Bob.
All right, well, I haven't gone by Texmar. Bob, you're getting Texmar now.
I was over there pretty recent.
Sorry.
Okay,
Oh, and
so he gets
Chris.
Smart and Emerson then, or
sure. Texmar and Emerson.
would you rather have Limpet?
Pardon?
Would you rather have Limpet?
I'll take Emerson.
Emerson's so sweet to look at. Limpet's
All
kind of.
right, I think that is it. I think that concludes. Our next meeting is Wednesday, October 12th. It's 2:09. I need a motion to adjourn the meeting at 2:09.
I'll make that motion.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
I